and mom decided to be in community together. And so this is the day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. Feel a little churchy there. I felt that was good. Um, Listen, I'm just getting back from a men's fellowship gathering that I have neglected to be around the past couple weeks because life has been lifing. Kids have been getting ready to go back to school. Work has been work. And you think you get a break for the summer, and the summer has not been that much of a break. It has been a constant go, 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 go. You know what? I haven't even put what I want to talk about here in the comments. Um, Hold on. Yeah, you just kind of keep going, and you don't get a chance to really slow down and reflect the way that you'd like to. At least that's what's been the case for me this summer. So I apologize if you all have been missing Kingdom Talk Live. I have not neglected you. I've not left you there. I've been working. I've been working, and so I want to ensure that we move forward as a community, and that we do the work that we said that we set out to do. Amen. And so tonight, I am coming off. I actually planned to do this before I went where I went, but I wanted to come on again to build a rhythm again. Life is about rhythms, right? And when we pay attention to the rhythm that we have, when we pay attention to the rhythm that's going on around us, we are more likely to be more intentional about the activities and the things that we do. Because we are playing to the cadence, the beat, the rhythm, and the sound that is around us. And so this is going to be for whoever it's for. We'll post it, we'll share it. But I'm in this space of let me share this. At the beginning of the year, I was sharing with some close friends of mine that I did not want to come out the house if it was not centered around rest or revenue. I meant that, and I still mean it. I do believe that there might have been some straying away uh, that can happen at times, but nevertheless, it is something that we are committed to doing because my purpose is to help you find yours, and I can only be the best version of me when I am operating in who I am authentically, right? And so that's helping you tap into who it is that God's called you to be. By no means do I make any guarantees to pull you or push you into a place that God has for you. I merely want to have a conversation that forces you to go back and have a conversation with yourself. That's all we're here for. That's all we're here for. I want you to be more thoughtful. I want you to be more present. I want you to be more accountable to the people that are important to you, to the communities that you serve, and to the things that God has placed inside of you. I will say this: that there is never, God never gives anything. God never gives anything of great value without that thing already being placed within it. Let me make that statement again. God never gives anything of great value without that thing already being placed within it. And so I'll let's make an illustration of it. Michael Jordan, we know him to be a phenomenal basketball player, right? One of the best to ever do it, greatest of all time. The argument can go on, right? But when we are honest about it, um, Michael Jordan's mother knows him as a son, right? But she also knew that there was something inside of him that was going to be undeniable and unquenchable once he got in the right environment, right? So that environment wasn't um, we see the optimized version of him when he gets to the NBA. There is a raw form of him that the world is introduced to when he's in high school, right? But it is not until he gets to college and he meets Dean Smith and he has an opportunity to fine tune his gift, to develop it, to shape it, to mold it, to spend time with it, right? And we don't get the version of MJ that we see today when he first stepped on the court, um, back in a North Carolina high school. We don't get that. We didn't see that version of him. We got the perfected version of him when he got to the NBA. We never saw what Mike looked like when he got cut from his high school basketball team. My title tonight is that there's better my argument, not argument, but what I want to suggest to you as you come across this live is that there's a better version of you. There's a version of you that's faster. There is a version of you that's stronger. There is a version of you that is more patient. There is a version of you that is more loving. There is a version of you that is kinder. There is a version of you that is optimized, right? There is a version of you that God has given and planted inside of you, but only through discipline, diligence, and obedience to what He's given you will you be able to realize that. And this isn't talk that a lot of churches are going to go off on. Let me be clear about that. A lot of churches will not spend the time trying to get you to the place of discovering what that thing is. And I'll tell you why. Because the way that many of them are set up and established, they are mission minded. So they're relying on individuals to already have an identity and to already know their purpose and to have already discovered that and to come in and to help them to be a vehicle that helps them get to the next place and being able to care for the sick, to provide for those who are less than, to seek and save that those whom are lost. Hold on. My Wi-Fi just went out. That's discouraging. All right, cool. I think we're back. My apologies. Oh, we're not. All right, bet. I think we're good. My apologies. I'm in the studio and Wi-Fi's been a little funky, but we still gonna work. And so many churches will not go through the process of helping you discover what your purpose really is because they're relying on you to have an idea of who you are and already be flowing in your gift and understanding how it works, when it works, what it works for. And they're trying to mobilize you for this ministry. Come on. I know. Yep. You don't want this one to get out. You don't want this one to get out, but it's going to go. And so many churches are not necessarily equipped to give you, right, tools that help you expound and discover and refine and develop your purpose, because when they get you, they want you to be able to serve and to be present in the ministries and the auxiliaries and the areas they're already functioning in. But what happens is when people are not aware, when they have no awareness of their gift, or they're interested in exploring what that gift is, gifts, they are only set up for the deployment of them. I'll say it again. A lot of institutions are not set up for the discovery and exploring gifts, uncovering, defining gifts. They're not set up that way. The way that they best function and flow is for you to come in and for that gift to be deployed, right? Because when you connect with a church or a ministry, they'll often say, "Hey, where do you want to serve?" And what I've learned is when you throw people into areas of service without first taking an account for what it is that they do well, for what it is that they are gifted for what it is that needs to be discovered, uncovered, and refined, you will find inefficiency in that particular area. And this is not just for churches. This is for business owners. This is for entrepreneurs. This is for executives. Wherever you do not inspect the gifts and talents of those that you are employing or those that you are inviting to the table, do not look for efficiency. Don't expect it. You cannot expect efficiency in those areas because you've not first spent the time to excavate, to discover, to investigate what those people do well or what that person does well. I hope this is blessing somebody tonight. My goal tonight is to help you see that there is a better version of you, but the version of you that is optimized for the journey ahead. You're not going to find um, fantasizing, desiring, or comparing you to somebody else. It's not going to work that way. You're going to get what you're supposed to get because you're diving deep into who you are as an individual and doing what we call a SWOT analysis, right? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my opportunities? What are my threats? Where are my weak points? Do you hear me? There's a better version of you. There is a better optimized version of you that is available, right? But you've got to do the work to discover it. You've got to do the hard work of asking yourself difficult questions like, yo, what fills me up? What depletes me? What I've noticed is I wish I could, you know what? I'm gonna use this whiteboard. Can I use this whiteboard tonight? That many of us, can y'all see it? Y'all can see it, right? Many of us, and I hate to turn my back to the audience, but I need to do this. Let me make this circle here because what I realize is that life is like a pie chart, right? If we divide it into 4 different quadrants, let's put family here, right? Let's put work here. Let's put you here in the lower left-hand corner, and let's put hobbies and interest in this other category, right? And so there's four quadrants that are at work here. Here we go. There we go. We can see it. Perfect. There are 4 different quadrants that are at work. It's work, it's family, it's you, it's hobbies and interests. And so it's your place of employment. It's the thing that you get paid for. It helps pay your bills, keep food on the table, lights on at the house, all that, right? This is, hey, Cheryl, what's up? What's up? What's up? Listen, so this is work, right? And life is best described in these 4 different quadrants. So you've got work, you've got family, and the bottom you've got the things that bring you joy, that help fill your cup, right? And so that's whether it's gardening, whether it's riding your bike, whether it's working out, whether it's doing things and being around people that you absolutely love, right? So this is what life kind of looks like. This is how I see what life looks like. And we're talking about identifying a better version of you. And the challenge, here we go, there we go. And the challenge with this is that a lot of times we don't necessarily budget the time that we have daily appropriately or accurately. And so we end up pouring ourselves into family, pouring ourselves into work, pouring ourselves into hobbies and interests, those things that help to recharge our batteries. But at the end of the day, we're operating more than likely at 75% capacity because I've given time to work. I've shown up. I've done my 8 hours of service, right? I got to sleep another 8 hours. That's 16, right? I got 24 hours in a day. That means I got another 16 hours to play with. Is that the 16 hours? No, 16. No, I got another 8 to play with, right? And so work gets 8, hobbies get some time, family gets time. The person that always that seems to miss out, and I may be by myself tonight, the person that here, and the person that gets the least of you is you. I can say this because I've been in a space where I'm giving to the family. I'm showing up for work the way I need to show up. I've picked up hobbies and I'm exploring my interests, and I'm still running on E. Why? How does this happen? How do I find myself still in a place where I'm operating at 75% capacity. I'm operating at 75% capacity because there's other 25 here. I'm willingly neglecting it because I'm saying I'll catch it on the back end, or I'll catch it at the end of the day. And when we're trying to find the best version of us, we in essence have to flip this chart the other way around. And the areas that we're pouring into, we have to meter the amount that we pour, right? So let's take this. This is a glass, right? Y'all don't make fun of my glass. I can pour into this glass, right? And that can get full. That can get full. Levels rise. So let me make this clear. All right, let me make it plain. Understanding what fills your cup is essential. What makes me happy? What makes me come alive? Am I doing the things that recharges my batteries and fills my cup? Because as I'm filling, somebody else is coming and asking for the energy that I've been conserving, right? Work is asking for something. Family is looking for something from me. Hobbies, my interests, my downtime is demanding something from me. And if my cup stays in a position, you see this? I hope you see that. If my cup is always in a position where I'm pouring, I hope you're watching this. I hope it makes sense. If my cup is always in a tilted position, I'm never getting the full capacity of my cup because I'm always leaning in a direction that's serving somebody else before it serves me. And this is not a self-centered theology. This is not a self-centered gospel, but Jesus shows us how to remain silent and still in the moments when we need this cup to be full. There is a garden in which all of us must visit from time to time. Jesus has a garden. It's called Gethsemane, where he goes to the garden and he's having a conversation. He has an interaction with his Father. He says, Lord, if you make it be so, let this cup pass from me. In other words, I don't want to pour out. I'm full, and I don't want to pour this out if you don't say pour it out. So some of us have to get into a position, right? Into a posture where before we pour, we say, God, if you don't want me to pour this out, tell me. And I won't have the conversation. I won't go there. I'll avoid it. I'll stay in a position where you can fill me up, because I'd rather be in a position where I can receive what it is from you, that when it's time for me to be tilted, when it's time for me to be tilted and repositioned, I'm pouring from a place of overflow. Your boy been in the gym. Yee! I'm pouring from a place of overflow because I have not expanded my capacity, but I've learned that in being silent and still, I can reach a level of capacity that I hadn't known because I was always in a tilted position. I'm always giving. I'm always showing up. I'm always present. And because I don't rest, all this is coming together. Because I don't take an opportunity to go back into the resting position, I stay in a posture of serving. And that cup, just like your life, is not meant to be tilted. I guess that's the word we're riding with. Is not to be tilted continually. It's just not. Look at the construction of it. If I'm tilted, I'm literally sitting on an edge. And many of us, because we don't get the rest that we need, feel like we're on edge. We feel like we're lacking something. We feel like we can't get both our feet on the ground because we're always serving. We're always showing up. We're always helping somebody get to the next place. We're always trying to give. But when you recognize that you're on the edge, You've got to find a way to recalibrate and get the bottom of that glass, the bottom of that container, both of your feet on stable ground. The old saints would say this: on Christ, the solid rock I stand. Huh? All other ground is sinking sand. There's a better version of you, but the better version of you is not that God doesn't want to do it. It's that God's waiting for you to be in a position of rest long enough that you can get past this first level of being full. Because a lot of us get this first level of being full. And what does that look like? That looks like we got the job. That looks like we got the car, right? That looks like we're moving to in a space in a relationship that we've been desiring. But that's not all God wants to do. I don't want to shout off of God getting me into a house. I don't want to just shout off of God getting me into a car. Those things are those. I'm not going to say those things are common, but those when we look at the God of the Bible, we're talking about a God who is able to split and make seas part. We're talking, yo, G1, what's up, bro? It has been a minute. BJ, what's up? What's up, nephew? Good to see you, man. I hope this is helpful for you. But we're talking about the God of the universe. We are shortchanging ourselves in his magnificent power by relegating him only to being able to give us material things. I'm not saying that's not good. I'll celebrate with you. But what I also want to celebrate with you is God taking the cap of your understanding off and giving you a revelation that's going to get you things that money cannot buy. I'm talking about peace. I'm talking about joy. I'm talking about understanding. I'm talking about wisdom. Y'all remember when Solomon was getting ready to become the king? God had asked him. He said, listen, he said, I'm paraphrasing here. Out of all the things Solomon could have asked for, he's getting ready to go into a position that is bigger than who he is. And he does not ask for cars. He does not ask for wealth. He asked God for wisdom. And God says, because you didn't ask me for tangible things, because you didn't ask me for the things that you know I can give you, I'm going to give you wisdom to discern and be an impactful leader. And because you didn't ask me for the stuff, I'm going to just give it to you just because. But there's some of us on this line that our asking of God is far too shallow. It's too shallow. It's too shallow. God's like, bro, everything belongs to me. But you just want this house? Or you just want this little job? I'm not saying it's little, but ask me for a hard thing. I have a friend, may see it, may not see it, that's having some challenges, and that friend is not a believer. She's not a follower. They're not a follower. They are not a follower. They're not a follower. And I've shared with such friend scripture and provided witness and testimony because I was in a place of rest, right? Because I wasn't on the edge. God could get into my vessel what needed to be in my vessel, so that when I got ready to pour out to my friend, I wasn't pouring from a place of emptiness. I was pouring from a place of boldness and knowing that when I began to pour, there's going to be enough for them and enough for me. Some of us, we pour so much into vessels that don't have the capacity to carry what it is that we're pouring. I hope you heard that. Some of us have a knack for pouring so much that we overflow the vessel that we're pouring into, not realizing that they don't have the capacity to carry what it is that we're pouring into them. And now you got a mess. And now you feel depleted. And now you feel like like you need a vacation, like you need to be on somebody's beach, like you need to book a flight somewhere. There's a better version of you, and that better version of you happens because you pay attention to the details of your life. You pay attention and you recognize when your levels are low. You recognize when you need to catch your breath. You recognize when you don't have the capacity to give in the style that people have grown accustomed to you operating in, right? You can't live on the edge forever. Living on the edge, it discredits you and it disables you from operating at an optimal level. In other words, my cup does not get a chance to overflow because I'm always living on the edge. I hope this is making sense tonight. Y'all, talk back to me here. G.3, what's up? Jillian, what's up? There's a better version of every one of us on this live. There literally is an optimal version that's lying dormant inside of you as we speak and share. But when you don't recognize, when you fail, right? When you fail to recognize that you're always in a position where you're giving to others without getting yourself in a posture where you can receive and catch your breath and get to and realize and maximize the level of capacity that you have, right? Maximize the capacity that you have. Some seasons, listen, I'm not finna pour out everything I got. You know why? It cost me too much to get full. Can we sit on a second? You've got to discern. Discerning is a fancy word for wisdom. You got to know that, listen, if it costs me this much to get here, I can't give you the pour that you need and keep what I got and both of us be okay. You got to have a level of discernment that says, listen, my level is low, right? If I'm low, I can't pour what I've got in me and give it to you because I'm going to be bankrupt. What do we say about the circle? That typically on most days, we're operating at 75% capacity. So work gets the best of us. Family and the kids and our spouse gets the best of us. Our employers get the best of us. Our industry gets the best of us. Our hobbies and our interests, they give us a recess and an escape from all those other things. And the thing that suffers the most is you. The 25% that would make up the whole, that would give us 100, is you. You are the missing link. When you do not slow down, when you are not mindful about where your levels of energy and focus and determination are and empathy, when you are low on all of those things, you ought not be pouring into others. That means this. That means I can't get on this phone and have a conversation with you. Huh? That means I can't go to that place with you. I know you got trouble. I got trouble too. And the only way that we can really get at this thing collectively is if I step back and stop living on the edge. If I got to stop tilting myself over, I got to stop bending over backwards. I got to stop showing up for you momentarily so I can put my glass. I can put my glass fully on the table. I can put both of my feet on the ground and receive the download and pouring that I need so I can show back up for me and everybody else connected to me. Because if I fail to manage me, then work gets a piece of me, family gets a fraction of me, my hobbies and interests get a fraction of me, and they don't get the authentic me. There is a blessing in admitting when you're tired. America don't want to hear it. And that's not good English, but it's great grace. Your employer says, We need you to do X, Y. We need you to be Superman 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, 12 hours if that's what it takes. And they're getting the very best of you. And not even awarding you for half the value that you bring. A quarter of the value that you bring is that's what they pay you in salary. That's what they pay you in hourly. That's what they pay you in a check, bi-weekly or weekly or monthly, however your employer divvies out your earnings. Your spouse and your children get a lesser version of you because you're holding on to whatever peace, whatever joy, whatever energy you got left. You kind of hoard it to yourself, and so you can't even fully show up for them. And so you could be at the kids' game, but you're not fully present. You're there, but you're not present. You're there, but you're checking email. You're there, but you got a podcast on. You're there, but you're trying to figure out how do I optimize this, that, and the third. And then your hobbies and your interests, you can't even throw yourself fully into it to see what it could be. God can have an idea, right? He can have a business. He can have a partnership that he's trying to show you in these areas of your hobby and your interests that will watch this, take care of the family, have you to not work in the place that you're working in, and take care of you for years to come. But you won't get it because you won't slow down, because you always want to live on the edge and always be in a position where you're pouring. And sometimes you need to be in a position where that glass is upright, flat on the table, and you allow God to pour into you. You allow family to pour into you. You allow others to pour into you. There's a better version of you that's inside. There is a better version of you that is inside of you already. Stop looking for it from your employer. Stop looking for it from your spouse. Stop looking for it from culture and society. It's already in you, kid. Already in you. You just got to admit, bro, hey, I need to put me on the table. Leave me alone for a minute. I'm tired. Leave me alone for a second. I'm tired. Leave me be. I'm tired. I want to be there for you. But if I can't be there for me, and help me manage the 25% that remaineth. If you give me the 25%, I promise you I'll show up big in the 75. But give me the 25. Let me hang out here. Let me catch my breath. Let me make sure I got enough gas in the tank so I can show up for everybody else the way that they're expecting me to show up. There's a better version of you. There's a better version of you. It's in you already. I know it's in you already. I'm here to help you pull it out. Don't run on empty unnecessarily. Trisha Simone, what's up? Peter Holmes, what's up? For this, listen, this is for my entrepreneurs. This is for my people that work in a corporate setting, 9 to 5. This is for the stay-at-home mom. This is for the educator. This is for the nonprofit worker. This is for the person that's just tired. It's hard for me to show up for you when I'm barely showing up for me. Give me the grace to show up for me, and I promise you, I'll show up for you. There's a better version. Tell them that's my argument tonight. I put my marker down. There is a optimal version of you that God wants to uncover, that He wants to introduce you to, that He wants you to meet you. He wants you to meet the you that He's designed from the beginning. We get distracted because we get the shiny new object syndrome, right? I gotta have a career, or I gotta have this house, or I gotta drive this car, or I gotta be in a relationship with this person. I gotta graduate from this program. I gotta go to this school. I got to make this connection. You don't have to do nothing. Don't take that soundbite out of context. The only thing I'm asking you to do, the only thing I'm challenging you to do, is to sit in a place and examine your capacity levels. What does life look like when you've got a quarter tank left? What do you feel like? What does life look like when the tank is half full? What do you feel like? Then ask yourself the question, what does it look like? How do I move? How do I operate? How do I think? How do I feel when I operate at three-fourths full? Good. That's the 75%. Right? That's the 75%. It's good. We're moving. Family's good. Everybody's good. Kids good. Spouse is good. Bills are paid. What happens though when we add that extra 25% that pushes us to full? When we learn to operate in the fullness of who we've been created to be, in the fullness of who we are, what happens when we stop playing games and we say, you know what, I'm gonna go for broke and I'm gonna flip this thing on its head and I'm gonna make sure I got I'm gonna hit this 25%. I'm gonna flip the equation upside. This imbalanced equation, because if I ensure that I'm good, then I can show else. That's all I got for you tonight. I wish I had more. This has been a blessing to you. Send some hearts up. Awesome. Listen, I did not introduce myself at the top. My name is Robert. That is waiting to come out, but you got to do the work. And I'm going to do the work right alongside with you. I love you. May the grace of God and the sweet communion of the Holy Spirit rest, rule, and abide both henceforth, now, and forever. I love y'all, and there's nothing you can do about it. Have an amazing evening. Be well. Bye bye.